to a foundation like New Work Foundation, or to any kind of Christian organization, be it a school or a mission board or anything like that, you have a little tension in your heart because you think, no, I don't want to do that. I want to leave my estate for my family. And I certainly appreciate that tension. So let me tell you how my wife and I resolved it. A number of years ago, my wife and I created a way to give our estate 100% to our children, while at the same time giving 100% of our estate to Christian work. All you have to do is extend your timeline just a bit. When my wife and I pass away, the California Baptist Foundation helped us do this in our state. You have the Georgia Baptist Foundation and the New Work Foundation who are here as a partnership tonight. They can help you do this in your state. The California Baptist Foundation helped my wife and I create an estate plan that works like this. When we pass away, everything we have will be left behind in a trust managed by the foundation. And for about the next 15 years, depending on rate of return, they're going to pay the earnings on that trust to my 3 children. And they're going to get a check every year for 15 years, approximately. Might be a year or two longer or shorter, depending on earnings. And at the end of that 15-year time frame, my children will have gotten 100% of their inheritance. And they'd have gotten it over 15 years because estate planners will tell you many people, no matter how mature you think they are, do not handle a large bequest all at once very well. So our children will get their full estate, the full estate. They're getting everything. Except after 15 years, when the earnings have all been paid out and the earnings equal the principal of the original trust, guess what remains? The full trust. And guess where it goes? All of it to Christian causes. So about 15 years after we're gone, my wife and I will have given our estate away twice. Once to our children and once to Christian causes. Now, I'm the president of Gateway Seminary, so guess where most of it's going? You know that. But if I was here and I was on this foundation or I was a part of this organization, a big part of it would have to go here because that's where my heart would be. So I'm simply saying tonight that these foundation leaders who are here from the Georgia Baptist Foundation and from the New Work Foundation, they can help you. These are not gimmicky tricks. These are not legal loopholes. These are very simple estate planning processes where you just create a trust that pays out over time rather than all at once when you're finally with the Lord in heaven. So I'm challenging you tonight to give your money, to give some every month, and to give some when you're in heaven, to make sure that your legacy includes Christian work, including church planting. And now back to Antioch. And that is, in Antioch, they also gave away a second thing. Over in chapter 13, the Bible says that they were having another worship service. And it says that in that worship service, Paul and Barnabas were worshiping the Lord, and the church told them, this is an interesting twist really, but the church told them, you're to go away on mission. Now, normally we like to get our own messages from God, you know what I mean? But this time the church told them, you're to go. But the principle is this: Antioch not only gave away their money, but they gave away their people. I want to challenge you tonight to get personally involved in church planting. Now, I know many of you are, but some of you are just here because you're a guest or you're a church member somewhere, and I get that. But I want to challenge you to get personally involved in church planting. You say, well, how do you mean that? There's just no way. Well, just listen for a second. It's not that complicated. This last summer, my wife and I got on a team that went to help start a new church. This particular church plant had been given a dilapidated church building. It was in a great location, but it had been let go by the previous owners. It had gone down significantly, and it needed a massive amount of work. The church planter worked hard raising the funds and building the volunteer teams, and I got on one of those teams. And I was able to go in the first week. This was the best week ever. I was on the demolition crew that destroyed everything. You have no idea how therapeutic that is for a Baptist seminary president, let me tell you. To spend an entire week with a sledgehammer in hand, it was very, very refreshing. But I spent a week in jeans and work clothes with my boots and hammer in hand, dismantling and emptying out a church building so that the team could come in the following week and start rebuilding it from the inside out. Over 4 months of time went by with multiple teams coming through. And at the end of that, a contractor came by and looked at it and said, I don't believe you guys did this. He said, this is $1 million remodel that you did for $50,000. And a lot of volunteer people who came in and made it happen. How did you do that was his only question. And that gave the church planter the opportunity to share the gospel with that guy about what it means to be a sacrificial support for a church plant. What I'm telling you is, you don't have to be a church planter to be involved in church planting. You track with me tonight? You can find a way. You can find a way to get involved personally by joining a church planting team for a short while. Give it 6 weeks and go help them get started. Or by finding a way to join a church planting project team like I did, where you go and spend a week just doing something to help the plant get moving. But tonight, I want to challenge you to give your money, and I want to challenge you to give your people or give yourself to get this done. Well, it's hard to believe that it was 30 years ago, that our little family got in a car and drove 1,800 miles to plant what is now called Pathway Church, which is now the largest Southern Baptist church in Oregon. Watch my children grow up and become a church planter's wife, a church planter leadership team, and a church planting funder. Why did we do it? Because church plants change lives, and church plants change communities. And I'm challenging you tonight to get on board and to follow the pattern of Antioch and to give your money and to give your people, or to personally yourself invest in what it means to be a part of the church planting movement that is in this region, so desperately needed in this part of the Atlanta area. Larry's going to come up and talk to you about how to make a commitment tonight, and I want you to do it in response to what God may be speaking to you and how he wants to lead you this evening. Thanks for letting me be here.
Thank you, Jeff, for coming and sharing with us tonight. And Jeff reflected just caused me to remember. I remember when I was a kid, I had a drug problem. Andrew, you talked about alcohol problem. I had a drug problem. I was drugged to the Southern Baptist Church in this association by my mother, Calvary Baptist Church in Covington. And God blessed and used it in a great way in my life. I was also taken to Midway Baptist Church in our association, and God used that in my life. All three of myself and my two brothers are involved in Christian ministry today because of the influence of church. And because of that, I became a church planter, missionary today because of influence. My family was recognized tonight because my mother and my stepdad saw fit to make a legacy gift in honor of my grandmother and my dad. What I want to challenge you tonight to do is to remember somebody and remember the influence that somebody's had in your life, and challenge you, as Jeff said, to get involved. How can you give? Well, Bobby mentioned a moment ago. I want to take and encourage the host at your table and call your attention that there's an envelope on your table. Did you see it in the program that you had? If you take that envelope out and take a minute and look at it, first of all, I want everyone in the room to fill out the envelope, okay? So how many is everyone? Everyone is everyone, all right? So that you can fill out the envelope, if you would please. There's some pens available. If you don't have one, the host at the table will give you a pen. And so if you're allowed to have a sharp instrument like a pen or a crayon, and you can use that to fill out the envelope, then I would encourage you to do so. And we want to get a record of your attendance with us and register so that we'll know that you were here. We have many guests here. Many of you I am personally invited, so I thank you for coming as my guest, and I want to encourage you to fill out the envelope so that we'll have a record of your participation with us tonight. Whether you give or not, we'd like to have you to register your attendance with us. The second thing that I want you to notice on the envelope is over to the side of the envelope, it has a way that you can give. And I would like to challenge you to give a cash gift tonight. You can give either by check or you can give cash in the envelope. And you can give by text. You can text to give. You can also fill out an honor or a memory card in case you want to honor someone or give in memory of someone. There's a card that's in the bulletin, the program tonight as well. Had an honor or memory card. You may say, I want to make that gift in honor or memory of someone tonight. I want to encourage you to do that as well. Do you remember the goal that Bobby said we had tonight? Is $8,000. We also said that our trustees have given $16,000, and you'd like to see us double that. So the goal would be basically that we'd like to raise $32,000. So if anybody needs help with the zeros, we'll help you with those zeros on that number, 32000.00. Okay? Now, you may want to make a reoccurring gift, and we'd encourage you to do that. I'm making a reoccurring gift. Dr. Iorg just said he gave $200 a month. My family, my wife and I made a commitment last year to give $250 a month to this New Work Foundation. I haven't missed it, okay? So I want to encourage you to join me in making a reoccurring gift. That's another way that you can participate. If you're interested in a legacy gift, there's a place on there for you to indicate that. If you're interested, you can just write the word legacy on there, and we'll follow up with you. If you give us your information, we'll contact you so we can discuss that with you. Our partners from the Georgia Baptist Foundation are with us. I want to thank Jonathan and Sam for being here with us tonight, as well as Nancy Patterson is with us. They all work with our Georgia Baptist Foundation. We're grateful for their support and encouragement as well. And perhaps you would like to give through some kind of will, trust, or some giving instrument. We'd be appreciative of that also. And you can always give through our New Work Foundation website. And the foundation website is www.newworkfoundation.com. It's on your program. So make sure you take your program home. You might say, I'm not certain about this. I got to pray about it. I want to think about what I'm going to give. My wife and I are together tonight, and I want to think about what I'm going to participate in giving. You can make a donation on the website, and that's the way to do it as well. Also in the back, Melanie, our ministry assistant, will be back there as you leave tonight. And you may also participate in giving by going back there and using an ATM card or a check card or a credit card. And she'll be back there with a mobile device to be able to use your card and make a gift that way as well as you leave. Also remember that also there'll be church planners back there. You can meet them and pray for them as you go. Here's the challenge. The task we have is great. We have already a need for 5 matching grants for church plants this year. We also have 8 church planters that God is raising up from among our churches. And so they'll be going to our church planting school starting the week after Easter. We have 5 Hispanic church planters in addition to those Anglo and African American church planters. So that's 13 church planters that are getting started this coming year. God's raising up from among our association. And so the need is great, and you're going to be the answer to that need and leaving a legacy that others will remember, and so that our children and our grandchildren and great-grandchildren will see churches in this community for many, many years to come making a difference. We have the worship team from higher levels going to come up and lead us in a song of commitment. After that, we'll have our closing prayer from Dr. Sam Warner from the Georgia Baptist Foundation is going to come and lead us in our closing prayer, and then we'll be dismissed. Would you give Bobby and his team of volunteers a big hand and thank them for the great work that they're doing?
Hello. There we go. Good evening. So I would like to dedicate this last song of commitment. It's called You Are My Strength. And I know how important it is for the power of God to be with us as Christians, but with new church plants, it's a lot of work. My family and I have been with higher level working, and we are a work in progress, but God is so awesome. So I pray that you all are blessed. You are my strength.